Hey, it's Average Drew Movie Review, and this time we're talking Black Panther. Alright, so Black Panther is rated PG-13. It's 2 hours and 14 minutes long, directed by Ryan Coogler, with a cast starring Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, and Lupita Nyong'o. Alright, so this movie is the latest in the Marvel Universe and happens just after Captain America Civil War. T'Challa returns home to Wakanda to officially become the king of his people and the true Black Panther. The movie is basically the story of T'Challa struggling to become the leader and the age-old struggle between keeping traditions and also changing with the times. This movie is family-friendly. It's a bit violent. Like all Marvel movies, you should expect that by now. There's been a lot of them. But I found it to be fine for children. I wouldn't have had an issue taking my son there if he was still 5. But I definitely wouldn't send him alone. Rating-wise, entertainment, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 stars. And overall, I'm going to give it a 3.5 stars. Not because it's a bad movie, simply because there was a blending in the special effects. And those special effects range from absolutely off the charts amazing to feeling like I was watching something that's 15 or almost even 20 years old. Alright, so for those of you left, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about this movie. Not a lot of actual spoilers going to happen in this, but enough background that, you know, it's good to let people know. If you don't want to know, go away. So much of the talk about this movie has been about how it's the best Marvel movie yet. However, I had a friend and a fellow movieaholic tell me that it was not the case. And that really disappointed me to hear him say that. But it did make me go into this movie with a much more accepting and open mind for the film. Unlike when I went into The Last Jedi, where I expected so much and was completely and totally let down. Yes, I am one of those guys. I did not like that movie. We really do exist. Let me say this. This movie is good. It is really quite good. But there were definitely some things lacking. The critical reviews that you read online are pretty accurate if you take them with a grain of salt. Okay, like everything, don't just take it at face value. Take it with a grain of salt. The action in this is very formulaic, and it's really done like every other Marvel movie. But I'm okay with that, and I still really enjoy it. The writing was incredibly predictable, but it's a superhero movie, so you kind of need to expect that. And there were a lot of race cards played in this one. Not in a bad way, though. The people who are saying that this is too racy, I don't agree with that. I really feel that this helped develop the narrative of the story and what was going on. And also, this movie would not have made as much sense if they had taken those out. That part of the narrative really needs to be there. Now, where I really had issues with this movie was the special effects. To me, that's absolutely crazy. I should have no problems with the special effects in this movie. So much of this film is green screen work, like, again, most of the Marvel movies. But if you're going to do that, the effects need to nail it. They absolutely need to nail it. And so many of the effects did. But there were some that I felt like I was watching The Phantom Menace. You know, another Star Wars reference. Or movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. It was just ridiculous. The one scene that truly ruined it for me, and really made me notice so many more of these later on in the film, happened really, really early. It happens during the challenge scene. To make it look really grand and massive with depth and lots of people there, they show 2 to 4 people on different ledges, like multiple ledges, 2 to 4 people per ledge, going up this cliffside. Okay, they're all over the place. But they're so staggered that it feels incredibly empty. Even though they probably showed 80 or 150 people on there, it felt like 30. It just felt so empty because there was so much, you know, in writing you would say, you know, if you're putting together a resume or you're putting together some kind of a print item, you would say, you know, there's so much white space. There was too much white space on the cliff. There was so much more cliff than people that it had the reverse effect of what I think they were trying to put out there. I think they wanted to make it feel like, look, it's grand. There's people everywhere. The problem is it looked really cheesy. And it made me wonder instantly, how did the people get there? How are they getting down? Or back up, depending on which way they're going. So instead of making me feel like there's a huge crowd watching the initiation of their new king, the whole thing just felt wrong and empty. And there were several parts in the movie that were supposed to be jaw-dropping special effects that ended up feeling like they reached the end of their budget and just said, good enough. Kind of like the guy's hand that turns into a cannon. It didn't work for me. I thought it looked cheesy and horrible, but that's me. Didn't ruin the movie, but I just didn't think the effect was very good. Overall, I thought the action of the movie was really good. The acting was on par with the rest of Marvel's work, and the movie itself was really quite enjoyable. And yes, I will be watching it again. I didn't take the kids this time. I will be next time. The African cultures they show are beautifully amazing. The Wakandan landscaping was breathtaking, and their interpretation of what the architecture would be was really pretty interesting. I found that fascinating. T'Challa's sister, Shuri, played by Letitia Wright, was probably the movie's highlight. She's incredibly entertaining, and she plays the genius role way too well to not be incredibly intelligent herself. Well played. However, I wasn't a fan of the Panther hand cannons. Didn't work. Is this Captain America the Winter Soldier? No. But it's not Iron Man 3 either. This is a great movie, and something that I think the whole family can enjoy. It fits really, really well within the Marvel canon. It's not an outlier to me. It's not the greatest. It's definitely not the worst, but it fits so well and nicely with everything else. I think this is a great launching point for this character. That's it for this one. Hope to see you again next time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the review, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there. You know how, and you want to. Also, if you'd like to support the show, I'd love it. Head on over to patreon.com/averagedrew. That's how I'm able to put out more and more reviews just like this one. Now go on out there, watch a movie.